Hey all, Kurt Sasso here from Two Geeks Talking at Super Summer Comic Con 2. We're joined today by Jason Moore, artist extraordinaire on many amazing comics that you know and love. How are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. Obviously, Windsor is a great town, has had a lot of conventions in the past. What made you come here?
Well, I met Mike, the promoter, at a show in Michigan, and we got to talking, and he was mentioning that he runs a show here in Windsor, and we're talking over Facebook and stuff like that, and it took a little while, but eventually we made a deal for me to come to the show, and looking forward to the show today.
Well, there's been a lot of great traffic here, a lot of people coming through here. What is it about comics that keeps you interested after all these years?
Well, I'm an artist, so I'm really a lover of the artwork of comics. The story is important as well, but with the artwork is what keeps my interest in it.
And looking in behind you there, you've done so many amazing works there. Is there a genre or maybe a hero or villain that you enjoy drawing the most?
Well, horror is the genre that I'm mostly known for in my comics work. I enjoy horror outside of comics as well, movies and stuff like that. Most of my work has been done with horror pencilers named Kelly Jones and Kyle Holtz. I've done work on Batman and most notably this character here called Evil Ernie.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Evil Ernie is, just to boil it all down, he's a demonic boy who is hell-bent on taking over the world.
Well, that sounds like it'll be pretty easy. Everyone has that one person that kind of inspires them on their path to where they are today. Who was that for you?
That's hard for me to whittle down to one person. I can get it down to two for you. That would be Bernie Wrightson and Frank Frazetta. Those two artists really just blew me away when I was a child. I was used to seeing Marvel Comics characters, more of the superhero, Jack Kirby type stuff. But when I first saw eerie comics and creepy comics and stuff, and House of Mystery with DC, and I started noticing the more horror-oriented artwork, the darker stuff with Frank Frazetta and his Conan illustrations and stuff like that, and then Bernie Wrightson with Swamp Thing. It just really, that's the stuff that made me sit down and try to copy what they were doing, and that's kind of really what inspired me when I was a kid.
Obviously you're professionally successful. You've been doing this for a good number of years. Do you consider yourself personally successful?
I guess on a professional basis, as far as my work getting published, I would say yes. But on a personal basis, if you're talking about how I feel with my own artwork on a personal level, as an artist, you're always growing. And I can tell you, if you talk to most any artist, they're never satisfied with their own work. So I always see myself as a work in progress, and I still have tons to learn, even though I've been, working professionally in comics since around 89 or 90.
How do you deal with your failures?
I don't look as failures as something to get depressed about. I look at them more as a challenge. That's something that I tell young and up and coming artists that show me their work. I got a rejection letter from Marvel or DC or something like that. You can't let that get you depressed. You have to look at that in a constructive way and not in a personal way, and always look at that as a challenge and a reason to grow. And to yourself, you can always say, well, I'll show them, and I'll get better and I'll fix those things that they notice in my work that might not be up to snuff to be published or something like that.
Last question then, because I know there's a lot of people that want to get to your work. I apologize for that. The younger generation, as you mentioned, they're coming through here. They're looking at their work and they're becoming inspired to do whatever they want to do. How can they inspire the generation that follows them?
By doing good work and doing work that when you look at it, you can tell the artists love doing it. There's nothing more, or there's nothing like looking at a piece of artwork and knowing that, that artist was inspired to do that. There's many pieces of artwork out there where you look at it and you can just tell that, that was the guy, or that was a job the guy knocked out of there to get paid for, this week or whatever, and that's a piece that the guy spent some time on, or girl, spent some time on and worked on because that's what he wanted to do.
That's awesome. Jason, thank you so much for this. Really appreciate it. Is there a website or anywhere we can go to look at your
I just send people to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/inkmachine, INKMACHINE.
Very fitting, too. Thanks again, Jason. Thanks so much.
You're watching TGT.